What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mental Asylum. We all know what this is. This is the top 10 death metal albums that I hold dear to myself, you know. And I worked on it for a little while, a little bit longer than I wanted to, you know, but it happens. These albums, they've either gotten me through stuff, or they've been recommendations by friends that have just kind of stuck with me over the few years, you know, that I've listened to some of them. Or other ones that's completely changed the way I even played guitar, you know. So, before I get into this list, I want to give a shout out to Mosley at Drunken Master Studios and my friend Joel at Black Death Thrash Doom. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about, you know, your top 10s and see what's up. See what kind of, you know, maybe if we have some matches or something completely different that, you know, we can all get each other into some different kind of music. That'd be kind of cool, you know. So let's get into it. My top 10, or well, number 10, is a band called General Surgery. The album is called Left Hand Pathology, dude. And it's a pretty good album. It's crushing. A lot of brutal lyrics. The guitars are on point, drums are on point, bass player does his thing on the top of everything, you know. My friend Tom Moore got me into this band a few years ago, and we were sitting down in his room one day, we were talking about music, and he's like, "You ever heard about General Surgery?" I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" You know. So I looked him up on YouTube, and I wasn't disappointed, you know. My number 9 band is a band called Guttural Slug. And the album that I heard first by them was an album called Megalodon. I think it's their second album, or I think it's the newest album they got out right now. Me and Tom used to sit around and try to find who could find the heaviest band of the day kind of thing, you know. And I remember waking up that morning and I was going through a couple YouTube playlists, and I was like, "Who is this?" You know. And so I started listening to him, and dude that sings for Guttural Slug, he's got really like deep, brutal, like guttural vocals, but the dude like has like these cricket noises he makes whenever he sings. And like, there's only a couple people that I know who do that. One of them is BAMH. They're having a new EP out right now, and the dude, I don't think he does them. He might. My friend Colton might do them, but there's cricket noises and that stuff too, you know. And cricket noises are pretty cool for metal. And I don't care who you are, that shit's fucking awesome, you know. But check out Guttural Slug, Megalodon. That band is pretty good, dude. I mean, it's like, it kind of started moving me more into the world of slam, you know? And it changed my guitar playing a little bit. Number 8 is Putrid Pile. The band, or the album is called House of Dementia. The album, when I first heard it, I was just, like I said, sometimes I just have my Spotify on random, you know, and it came up to his intro to this album, and it's like classical guitar, you know, and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. So like the intro, like by itself, blew me away because I love classical guitar, you know. But then whenever that first song hit, I was like, this is the most brutal ass shit ever, you know. And Putrid Pile used to be like a full band, you know. They had, I believe, 2 guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer. But dude's like doing his own shit now, like as a one-man band, and I think that's pretty rad, you know, that he can go out there and still throw down by himself. And you gotta respect that, you know. Gives me ideas for music, you know. Okay, number 7 is Morbid Angels, the Covenant album. I got this album from, I think it was like, I got it from a neighbor that I lived next to when I was living in Texas. They were getting rid of like a shitload of CDs. And I'm talking about a shitload, like a fucking box like this fucking big full of fucking stuff. Alright, it had like CDs, DVDs. And they had like 6 spindles of DVDs in there. I mean, not DVDs, but CDs. And I picked through all the stuff that I either thought was death metal or knew it was, you know. And, you know, the pentagram on the CD kind of gives it away, you know. And the CD itself is not too bad. It's kind of like pretty much the only Morbid Angel I've ever listened to. You know, I'd like to maybe listen to some more one day, but this album right now stands out to me because like it was the first one, so you know, it just kind of like stuck with me over the years, you know. And plus, it almost got me kicked out of a place one time because I was flipping through my CD book and my roommate saw that I had a whole bunch of shit with pentagrams on it, and they were Christians, okay, and didn't like that kind of shit. And you know, it is what it is. We shouldn't kick somebody out over a fucking CD. It's ridiculous. But that album is pretty awesome. I enjoyed it a lot. Number 6 is another band Tom got me into, and that is Vulvectomy. The album is called Post-Abortion Slut Fuck. Let me say something about these Italian motherfuckers real fast, dude. They come up with some of the most weirdest shit to fucking do songs on, okay? And like, this band, this band is another fucking like death/slam band, okay? But like, it's perfect, you know? The whole fucking thing is perfect as a death metal slam album. You know, everything you would want is in that album, vocals included. You know, and I do believe they use a drum machine, and I didn't know that shit, so I saw like a live video, and I was like, damn, that shit's pretty sick, you know, like, so that gave me another idea too, to like, you know, if I can't find a drummer, I might as well use a drum machine. And you know, I've had some pretty success the past, you know, what, 3 or 4 years I've been doing music, outside of my other band, Dire Lacerations, that, you know, we used a drummer, but then I started Bondage Pig, we using like fake drums. And like, dude, it was a blast, you know. And I got a lot of influence on that from Vulvectomy, because, you know, music is how you know, it's like how you decide to express yourself. You know, it's not like you have to get all these people together under one roof and try to coexist. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You know, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, check these Italian dudes out, Vulvectomy. They're pretty badass. You'll be happy you did. Now we're getting down to the top 5. Number 5 is Aborted. I love Aborted. I love that fucking band. But one of my all-time favorite albums, besides, you know, like Retro Gore, would be a good honorable mention for this band, you know. But Global Flatline. I was in Texas whenever this band first released this album, and I remember watching the previews for it and stuff as it was coming along. And wait, nothing of it. I might have been in Oregon. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's in Oregon. But either way, I started watching the previews for this band coming out with their shit, you know, and like the snippets they would release of like the music, you know, like 30 seconds here at a time, was just like, it blew my mind, dude. It was so awesome and heavy. At the time, it was like the heaviest shit they had ever written, and they sounded a little different, you know, but like not bad, you know, like not Metallica bad, you know, and but like I remember watching this promo they had, and like, I think it was a couple minutes long, but today it looked like a fucking like brutal, sick ass horror flick, dude. And I was like, I've got to get this album when it comes out. You got to check it out. The album's fucking badass, dude. All right, coming in at number 4 is Dying Fetus, Grotesque Impalement. I think this might have been one of their first albums, but I was at I got it back whenever I lived in Louisiana, and I got it from my friend Victor's shop. I think his shop was called the Video Game Exchange. Yeah, it's like a mom and pop store, you know, where you could buy tapes and CDs from like metal to rap to Christian to country to fucking all kind of weird in between shit, you know. And he also sold a lot of retro games and video games and stuff, and records and EPs, you know. But you know, he had a box of CDs one day that he just wasn't selling, you know. And normally he would hold all that shit back for me, and when I'd go in there on paydays, I'd hand him like all the money, you know, sometimes. And or he would just hook me up with some CDs, and like I remember one time he hooked me up with like this big ass tape rack, you know, that had like all kind of old school death metal albums and stuff in it that just kind of grew legs and walked away. And you know, it says shit happens. I ain't even mad, you know, but like but with Grotesque Impalement, that album, it was like kind of like my first early baby steps into death metal, you know. And they had a song on that album called "Bringing Back the Glory," and that song at the time changed the way I play guitar, because I was like only playing one style in one way, you know. And when I heard that song, it just had this like groove right in the middle of it, like a breakdown, you know. And I was like, shit, that's fucking heavy. I can fucking play that, you know. So like I sat down and I learned to break down in parts of the song, and then, you know, it just kind of evolved from there to who I am now. And let's see, my number 3 album is Cannibal Corpse. The band's Cannibal Corpse, as we all know, the Mighty Corpse. And the album may become a surprise to some of you guys. But my favorite Cannibal Corpse album is Kill, you know. And like, I know a lot of people are gonna bitch because it's George Fisher and stuff and whatever, you know. But look, that album, from the time it starts to the time it ends, it will kick you in the nuts. Okay, I mean, from the first scream to the final note, Infinite Misery, you know. And they write some badass instrumentals, you know. But that album, the reason why I love it so much is because it's got me through a hard time, you know. My grandma had died where she was dying, you know, and it seemed like my whole fucking life was falling apart, and that album gave me the drive to hold everything together that I could for my kids and my wife, and keep my finances straight, and I quit my job and become a homeless alcoholic like I wanted to, you know. So much props to Cannibal Corpse for that. My number 2 album is Suffocation. The album is a self-titled one, Suffocation. That album to me got me through a lot of hard times too. I won't talk about the hard times because it's just something I won't talk about, you know. But I was in Texas, and those who know me that I've ever told any stories to, you know. That album, it got me through a lot of shit, you know. There's so much raw emotion in that album from the singer doing his thing, and it's like what some of the stuff that he wrote, like what he felt, I felt, and like some of the emotions he was going through, I had the same emotions, you know. And that really started making me realize and put into perspective that maybe I should keep playing music, because every time I would listen to this album, I would always, if I didn't have a guitar next to me, dude, I would always run to Guitar Center, or I'd always like see somebody out that I knew that had a guitar, like, and I would just sit down and just like try to play songs from the album, or I would just start writing, you know what I mean? And it sparked the interest in me. And I first heard of Suffocation through my friend Carl back in Louisiana. Carl had a Suffocation shirt on one day, and I remember asking, who the fuck is that, dude? He's like, the best band ever, you know? So like, you know, I back then I kind of dabbled in it here and there, and I was trying to listen to it, you know, but my life was chaotic back then. And but yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, once you hear, you don't ever forget, you know what I'm saying? And so if you haven't heard the self-titled album by Suffocation, then you really should go pick it up, or get on YouTube and listen to it. It's fucking badass. My last album, and number 1 album, is one of my favorite bands of all time. I've got to share the stage with these dudes. I got to hang out with these dudes. I was like a sponge and learned as much as I could from my friend Jason from Louisiana, and that band is Suture. Carnivorous Urge to Kill is one of my favorite death metal albums of all time. I still have it. I listen to it a lot when I can, you know. I actually need to put it to MP3 format so I can put it on my phone, so I can do that eventually. And why is this? You're saying, Charlie, all these bands that you listen to and you talk about on a daily basis sometimes and share, why is, you know, like a local band from your hometown your favorite, you know, death metal band / you know, your favorite album or whatever? Well, that's easy, man, because I remember I was playing for this band called Bloodline, and we all played in these storage facilities, right? And I remember we played at one for a while in Baton Rouge, and we pissed off the church next door, and I never really got a chance to really sit down and listen to Suture. I knew who they were, and, you know, I've met them a couple times at this point in my life. But when we moved to a place in Denham Springs. It was a little mini storage facility that was like in little blocks, you know. And so we pretty much like, we took over one whole block of this fucking storage facility, and it was like all the people were playing in that storage facility, you know. And I remember just sitting there sometimes. I would go by Suture's room, and a lot of times they would be jamming, dude. And it was like really the first time in my life I sat down and like watched and observed the death metal band like right there in front of me, you know, and watched that caliber of guitar and drums and bass go on, and it blew my mind, you know. And it's just, you know, and over the years I made, you know, Jason showed me a lot of stuff on guitar that I still, like, it took me forever to learn and get under my hands, you know, but now that I have it, it's like riding a bike. I'll never forget it, you know. And there's so much, like, that band and the people that they are got me through a whole bunch of stuff, whether they realize it or not, you know. And it's just like, it's just one of those things where you make friends, you know, and you feel it. You know, you feel their music. They, you know, and they reciprocate things back to you. They're always uplifting to me. You know what I mean? Never had nothing bad to say about me, even on my worst fucking days. They always had a way to make me laugh or feel better about something. You know, so that's why they made #1 for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I'm looking forward to hearing more. Mosley and Joel, come on now. I know you can get a list going. Anybody else that watched this video and want to, you know, want to do a list with me or do a list as a response, just tag me in it or let me know. And you guys keep on being brutal, and I'll catch you next time.